9 weaknesses of women every man needs to understand. Gentlemen, let's face it, when it comes to understanding women, the struggle is real. From their intricate emotions to their nuanced ways of communicating, women can feel like an enigma wrapped in a mystery. But here's a truth most men don't realize. Understanding women isn't about figuring them out like a math problem or cracking a code. It's about learning their rhythm, their vulnerabilities, and their unique strengths. Now let me start with a bold statement. Women are not weak. They are powerful, resilient, and capable beyond measure. What society often calls weaknesses in women are in reality windows into their deeper selves. Insights that, when understood, can lead to stronger connections and more fulfilling relationships. As men, acknowledging these vulnerabilities doesn't mean taking advantage of them, but honoring and supporting the women in your life in ways that make them feel seen, respected, and cherished. Why does this matter? Because behind every woman's smile, strength, and success lies a human being who faces doubts, fears, and challenges, just like you. The more you know about these aspects of her, the better you'll be at navigating the often complicated dynamics of relationships. And here's the kicker. When you take the time to understand her, you also grow as a man. You'll develop empathy, patience, and insight that make you a better partner, friend, and even a better father or brother. This isn't about playing games or trying to manipulate your way into someone's heart. It's about building bridges, not walls. It's about becoming the kind of man who inspires trust, love, and loyalty because you truly see and appreciate the person she is. Now, let's set the record straight. This isn't a one-size-fits-all guide. Every woman is different, and every relationship is unique. But what you'll discover here are common threads, universal truths that can help you connect with the women in your life on a deeper level. So, what can you expect from this journey? First, we'll dive deep into each of these 9 areas: emotional sensitivity, overthinking, validation, rejection, overcompensation, trust issues, compassion fatigue, the need for connection, and self-doubt. We'll unpack why these traits exist, how they manifest in women's lives, and most importantly, how you can respond to them with understanding and grace. Along the way, I'll share real-life scenarios, practical advice, and powerful insights that can help you become the man she feels safe with, the man she can rely on. But before we dive into the first weakness, let me emphasize something crucial. These aren't weaknesses to be judged or criticized. They are parts of a woman's humanity, just like your own fears, insecurities, and challenges. When you understand these aspects of her with compassion, you're not only elevating her, you're also elevating yourself. Let's begin this journey of discovery and growth together. Prepare to see women in a whole new light, and in doing so, prepare to see yourself in ways you never imagined. Ready? Let's go. Weakness 1. Emotional sensitivity. The heart on her sleeve. Emotional sensitivity is often misunderstood. Society can label it as fragility, vulnerability, or even a sign of weakness, but the reality is far from that. Women are often more in tune with their emotions than men, and this sensitivity allows them to connect on a deeper level, both with themselves and with others. It's one of their most remarkable strengths, but like all strengths, it has its challenges. Why emotional sensitivity matters. Imagine this. You're in a heated discussion with your partner. To you, it's just a disagreement, a temporary bump in the road, but to her, it feels like a storm. Why? Because women are wired to process emotions in a way that intertwines deeply with their sense of self and relationships. Science even backs this up. Studies have shown that women's brains are structured to process emotions more intensely than men's, particularly in areas linked to empathy and interpersonal understanding. While this makes women incredible at nurturing and connecting, it also means they are more likely to feel the impact of negative emotions, whether it's a careless comment, a dismissive attitude, or even unspoken tension. How emotional sensitivity manifests. Emotional sensitivity doesn't mean a woman is fragile or overly dramatic. It means she experiences life through a rich emotional lens. This might look like feeling deeply hurt by offhanded remarks that were never meant to sting, overanalyzing situations where emotions ran high, trying to make sense of what went wrong, reacting strongly to perceived rejection or indifference, even when unintended, For example, suppose you come home after a long day and respond to her enthusiastic, "How was your day?" with a distracted, "Fine." While you might simply be tired, she could interpret it as disinterest or detachment, sparking feelings of hurt or worry. What men can do. This is where you step in. Emotional sensitivity isn't something to fix, it's something to understand and honor. Here's how you can support her. 1. Listen actively. When she shares her feelings, don't jump in with solutions or dismiss her emotions as irrational. Instead, listen attentively and acknowledge what she's expressing. A simple "I hear you and I understand why you feel that way" can go a long way. 2. Avoid minimizing her emotions. Phrases like, "It's not a big deal," or "You're overreacting" can feel invalidating. Remember, it's not about whether you think it's a big deal. It's about what it means to her. 3. Be mindful of your tone and words. Small adjustments in how you communicate can make a huge difference. Show warmth and empathy, especially during sensitive conversations. 4. Show consistency. Trust and emotional safety are built over time. Be someone she can rely on, especially when she's feeling vulnerable. The payoff. When you embrace and respect her emotional sensitivity, you're not just supporting her, you're creating a deeper bond between you. She'll feel safe to be herself, and that safety will allow your relationship to thrive in ways you never imagined. Emotional sensitivity isn't a weakness, it's an invitation for intimacy and trust. Weakness 2. Overthinking, the battle in her mind. Let's move on to something many men have encountered but few truly understand: overthinking. Women often have a remarkable ability to analyze situations, consider every possible outcome, and reflect on conversations long after they've ended. While this skill can be incredibly useful, it can also turn into a double-edged sword when it spirals into overthinking. Why women overthink. Overthinking is deeply rooted in women's tendency to care deeply about their relationships and the people around them. They often want to ensure everyone is happy, every detail is accounted for, and every potential conflict is avoided. This desire for harmony and understanding drives their thought process, but it can also create mental exhaustion. Imagine this. You tell her, "I'll call you later," and then get caught up in work. In your mind, it's a straightforward statement. In hers, it might turn into, "Why hasn't he called yet? Did I say something wrong? Is he upset with me? Should I have done something differently? What if he doesn't care as much as I thought he did?" What starts as a simple delay in communication can snowball into a storm of self-doubt and unnecessary worry. How overthinking manifests. Overthinking often shows up in subtle ways. Seeking constant reassurance. She might ask questions like, "Are we okay?" or "Do you still love me?" even when nothing seems wrong to you. Fixating on past conversations. She might replay arguments or misunderstandings, analyzing every word and trying to decipher hidden meanings. Hesitating to make decisions. Fear of making the wrong choice can lead to paralysis in decision-making, whether it's about dinner plans or life-changing events. What men can do. If you've ever felt frustrated by a woman's tendency to overthink, remember this. It's not about you, it's about her desire for clarity and emotional safety. Here's how you can help. 1. Communicate clearly and consistently. Avoid vague statements like "later" or "sometime." Be specific. "I'll call you at 7 p.m. Clear communication helps reduce ambiguity and gives her peace of mind. 2. Reassure without dismissing. If she's overthinking a situation, acknowledge her feelings without making her feel silly. For instance, instead of saying, "You're overthinking it," try, "I can see why you might feel that way, but I promise everything is fine." 3. Be patient. Overthinking isn't something she can just turn off. Your patience and understanding can help ease her mind and build her trust. 4. Encourage positive self-talk. Gently remind her to focus on facts rather than fears. Help her challenge the what-ifs with what's actually happening. The payoff. When you support a woman through her overthinking, you're showing her that you're a safe space, a partner who values her peace of mind. Over time, she'll feel more secure in your relationship and more confident in herself. Overthinking isn't a weakness. It's a reflection of how deeply she cares. By understanding this, you can turn what feels like a challenge into an opportunity for growth and connection. Weakness 3. Need for validation. the craving to feel enough. If there's one thing most women silently yearn for, it's validation, not just from their partners, but also from the world around them. It's an intrinsic part of being human to seek acknowledgement and appreciation. But for women, this need can often feel amplified by societal pressures, beauty standards, and expectations placed upon them. Why validation is so important? Think about it. Women are constantly bombarded with messages about what they should be: beautiful, successful, nurturing, ambitious, independent, and yet somehow also traditional. It's a balancing act that no one can truly master, and yet many women feel the pressure to try. This relentless demand creates a deep-seated desire to feel enough, whether it's in their appearance, their achievements, or their relationships. Validation is like fuel for her soul. It reassures her that she's seen, valued, and appreciated not just for what she does, but for who she is. And when she doesn't receive this validation, self-doubt can creep in, leaving her questioning her worth. How the need for validation manifests. The need for validation can show up in various ways, some subtle, others more apparent. Fishing for compliments. She might ask, "Do I look okay in this?" Or "Did you like what I made for dinner?" What she's really asking is, "Do I matter to you?" Seeking approval in decisions. From choosing an outfit to making career moves, she might look to you for reassurance that she's making the right choice. Being overly critical of herself. She may downplay her accomplishments or focus on her perceived flaws, hoping for you to counter her negative self-talk. It's easy to misinterpret these behaviors as insecurity or neediness, but they're often rooted in a deeper longing to feel appreciated and understood. What men can do. The way you respond to her need for validation can either build her confidence or erode it further. Here's how you can help. 1. Offer genuine compliments. Don't just compliment her appearance. Praise her for her intellect, kindness, humor, or resilience. Let her know you see her beyond the surface. 2. Be specific. Instead of saying, "You look nice," try, "That dress brings out the color of your eyes," or "The way you handled that situation was really impressive." Specificity shows that you're paying attention. 3. Celebrate her achievements. Whether it's a promotion at work or mastering a new recipe, acknowledge her efforts and successes. A simple, "I'm so proud of you," can mean the world. 4. Reassure without prompting. Don't wait for her to ask if she's enough. Tell her regularly that you appreciate her, love her, and admire her, unprompted. The payoff. When a woman feels validated, she blossoms. Your words and actions can be the anchor that steadies her in a world full of noise and comparison. But more importantly, validation fosters a deeper sense of connection. She'll feel seen and loved for who she truly is, and that kind of bond is priceless. Validation isn't a weakness, it's a basic human need, and when met with love, it becomes a foundation for growth and trust. Weakness 4. Fear of rejection, the silent guardrails. Let's talk about rejection. For many women, it's more than just a momentary sting. It's a fear that can shape their actions, decisions, and even their self-perception. While rejection is painful for everyone, women often internalize it in ways that can leave lasting scars. Why fear of rejection runs deep. Rejection isn't just about romantic relationships. It can stem from childhood experiences, societal expectations, or moments of vulnerability that weren't met with kindness. Over time, these experiences can create a protective shell, making women cautious about putting themselves out there, whether it's applying for a job, sharing their feelings, or pursuing their dreams. This fear is often tied to a woman's sense of worth. If she feels rejected, she might interpret it as a reflection of her value, even if the rejection had nothing to do with her. It's not rational, but emotions rarely are. How fear of rejection manifests. The fear of rejection can show up in subtle or obvious ways, such as hesitating to express needs. She might avoid asking for what she wants in a relationship, fearing she'll be seen as demanding or needy. Avoiding vulnerability. She may keep her guard up, afraid that opening up will lead to disappointment or hurt. Overanalyzing interactions. A delayed text or a perceived lack of enthusiasm can spiral into self-doubt and worry about being unwanted. For example, she might hesitate to tell you how much she values spending time with you because she's afraid you'll pull away. Or she might avoid sharing her dreams because she fears being dismissed or judged. What men can do. Rejection is a part of life, but how you handle her fears can make all the difference. Here's how you can support her. 1. Be consistent. Show her through your actions that you're dependable and trustworthy. Consistency builds a sense of safety and reduces the fear of being let down. Create a safe space for vulnerability. Let her know that it's okay to share her feelings, even if they're messy or uncomfortable. Respond with empathy and reassurance, not judgment or dismissal. 3. Be attentive to small gestures. Sometimes, her fear of rejection may come out in subtle ways: a hesitation before she speaks, a nervous laugh. Pay attention to these cues and address them gently. For example, "I feel like you're holding back. What's on your mind?" 4. Reassure her worth. Remind her regularly that her value doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. Celebrate her for who she is, not just for what she does. The payoff. When a woman feels secure enough to face her fear of rejection, she becomes more open, confident, and authentic. Your support can empower her to take risks, express herself freely, and embrace her true potential. Fear of rejection isn't a weakness. It's a human response to vulnerability. By standing by her, you're not just strengthening her, you're strengthening the foundation of your relationship. Weakness 5. Overcompensating. The weight of perfectionism. Let's move on to something many men might not immediately notice, but is deeply ingrained in the lives of many women: the tendency to overcompensate. Women often feel the need to go above and beyond in nearly every aspect of life, whether it's in their relationships, careers, or personal goals. While this drive can be admirable, it can also become a heavy burden. Why women overcompensate? Think about the messages society sends to women. Be the perfect mother. Excel at work. Always look your best. Be kind but assertive. Be strong but not intimidating. These conflicting expectations create an unspoken pressure to perform at an unattainable level. Over time, many women internalize this pressure, feeling like they have to prove their worth through constant effort. This isn't just about seeking validation, though the two are linked. It's also about avoiding criticism, rejection, or feelings of inadequacy. Overcompensation becomes a way to shield themselves from judgment and maintain a sense of control in an unpredictable world. How overcompensating manifests. Overcompensating can show up in a variety of ways. Taking on too much. She might volunteer for every project at work, handle all household tasks, or be the first to offer help to others, even when she's already overwhelmed. Striving for perfection. She may obsess over details, fearing that anything less than perfect will result in disappointment or failure. Struggling to say no. Whether it's to her boss, her partner, or her friends, she might find it difficult to set boundaries, worried that doing so will make her seem selfish or incapable. For instance, imagine she's planning a family dinner. Instead of simply cooking a meal, she might feel the need to prepare an elaborate feast, decorate the house, and ensure everything looks Instagram-worthy. While her efforts come from a place of love, they often leave her exhausted and unappreciated. What men can do. If you notice a woman in your life overcompensating, it's not your role to fix her, but you can support her in meaningful ways. 1. Acknowledge her efforts. Let her know that you see and appreciate what she does. A heartfelt "thank you for all you're doing" can remind her that her efforts don't go unnoticed. 2. Encourage balance. Gently remind her that she doesn't have to do everything perfectly to be loved or respected. For example, say, "You don't have to go all out. What you've done is more than enough." 3. Offer practical help. Actions speak louder than words. Step in to share the load without being asked. Whether it's doing the dishes, running errands, or simply listening when she needs to vent, your support can ease her burden. 4. Reinforce her worth. Remind her that her value isn't tied to her achievements or how much she gives to others. Help her see that she's enough just as she is. The payoff. When a woman feels supported in her struggles with overcompensation, she begins to let go of the unrealistic expectations she's placed on herself. This creates space for her to relax, recharge, and focus on what truly matters. Overcompensation isn't a weakness. It's a sign of someone trying to navigate a demanding world. Your empathy and understanding can help her find a healthier balance. Weakness 6. Trust issues. the wounds of the past. Trust is the cornerstone of any meaningful relationship, but for many women, it's not something that comes easily. Whether due to past betrayals, broken promises, or even societal conditioning, trust issues can feel like an invisible barrier standing between her and emotional connection. Why women struggle with trust. Trust issues often stem from past experiences. Perhaps she's been hurt by someone she loved, or maybe she's witnessed others around her endure betrayal. Over time, these experiences create emotional scars that make it difficult for her to fully open up. It's not just personal experiences that shape her trust. Societal factors play a role too. Women are often taught to be cautious in their interactions, whether it's about protecting themselves physically, emotionally, or socially. This caution, while necessary at times, can make it harder for them to let their guard down, even with people they care about. How trust issues manifest. Trust issues don't always appear in obvious ways. Sometimes they show up as subtle behaviors, testing your intentions. She might ask indirect questions or observe how you handle certain situations to gauge your reliability. Hesitating to open up. If she's slow to share personal details or struggles, it might be because she's unsure whether it's safe to be vulnerable. Seeking constant reassurance. Trust issues can lead her to double-check your words or actions, looking for signs of inconsistency. Guarded behavior. She might seem distant or overly independent, fearing that relying on someone else will leave her vulnerable. For example, if she questions why you were late or seems uneasy about small changes in plans, it's not necessarily about mistrust. It's about her fear of being let down or hurt again. What men can do. Building trust takes time, patience, and consistent effort. Here's how you can support her. 1. Be transparent. Honesty is key. Even small lies can erode trust, so be upfront about your intentions, plans, and feelings. 2. Follow through. Actions speak louder than words. If you promise to do something, make sure you follow through. Consistency builds trust over time. 3. Be patient. Understand that her trust issues aren't about you, they're about her past. Avoid taking her hesitations personally and give her the space she needs to feel secure. 4. Communicate openly. If she brings up concerns, don't dismiss them as paranoia or overthinking. Instead, address them calmly and reassure her with both your words and actions. The payoff. When a woman learns to trust you, it's not just a win for your relationship, it's a win for her personal growth. Trust issues aren't about weakness, they're about self-protection. By being consistent, patient, and understanding, you can help her break down the walls that keep her from fully embracing love and connection. And in doing so, you create a bond that's rooted in mutual respect, safety, and authenticity. Weakness 7. Compassion fatigue, the weight of caring too much. One of the most beautiful traits many women possess is their innate ability to care deeply for others. Whether it's nurturing a child, supporting a friend, or being there for a partner, their empathy and compassion seem limitless. But even the most giving hearts can become weary. This is where compassion fatigue sets in, a unique form of exhaustion that comes from caring too much for too long without replenishing their own emotional reserves. Why compassion fatigue happens. Women often take on the role of caregivers in their families, workplaces, and social circles. While this role is rewarding, it can also be incredibly draining. Society often reinforces the idea that women should be selfless, always putting others' needs above their own. Over time, this expectation can lead to burnout, leaving her feeling depleted and disconnected from herself. Compassion fatigue isn't just about being tired, it's about emotional overload. When a woman gives endlessly without receiving support in return, she risks losing her sense of self, her energy, and even her ability to continue caring for others. How compassion fatigue manifests. The signs of compassion fatigue can vary, but here are some common ways it might show up. Emotional numbness. She may begin to feel detached or indifferent, even toward things she once cared deeply about. Irritability or frustration. Small issues might trigger disproportionate emotional responses because her emotional bandwidth is stretched thin. Physical exhaustion. Caring for others can take a toll on her body, leaving her feeling constantly tired or drained. Withdrawing from relationships. She might pull back from social interactions, needing time to recharge but unsure how to ask for it. For example, if she's always the one supporting friends through tough times, handling family crises, or carrying the emotional weight in your relationship, she might reach a point where she feels like she has nothing left to give. What men can do. If you see a woman in your life struggling with compassion fatigue, the best thing you can do is to be her anchor. Here's how. 1. Encourage self-care. Remind her that taking care of herself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Suggest activities she loves, like a spa day, a walk in nature, or simply reading a book in peace. 2. Step in and help. Don't wait for her to ask for help. If she's overwhelmed, offer to take over tasks or responsibilities, even if it's something small like cooking dinner or doing the laundry. 3. Be a source of positivity. When she's emotionally drained, your presence can either add to her stress or lighten her load. Be uplifting, supportive, and reassuring. 4. Validate her feelings. Let her know that it's okay to feel overwhelmed and that you recognize how much she does for others. Sometimes just hearing, "I see how hard you're working and I appreciate you," can make all the difference. The payoff. When you help her navigate compassion fatigue, you're not just giving her a break. You're showing her that she's not alone. Your support can reignite her passion for caring and remind her of the joy it brings, without the heavy burden of doing it all herself. Compassion fatigue isn't a weakness, it's a natural consequence of loving deeply. And with your help, she can find balance and rediscover her inner strength. Weakness 8. Desire for connection. Connection is the lifeblood of any meaningful relationship. And for many women, it's not just a preference, it's a deep-seated need. Women often crave connection in ways that go beyond surface-level interactions. They want to feel seen, heard, and understood, not just in relationships, but in all areas of their lives. But when this need for connection goes unmet, it can leave her feeling isolated, unfulfilled, and even lonely. Why women crave connection. At its core, the desire for connection is about intimacy, not just physical intimacy, but emotional and intellectual intimacy as well. Women are often naturally attuned to the nuances of relationships, seeking bonds that are authentic and meaningful. This stems from a combination of biology, socialization, and their empathetic nature. In relationships, connection provides a sense of safety and belonging. It reassures her that she's valued and that the relationship is a priority. Without it, she may start to feel like a distant observer rather than an active participant in your shared life. How the desire for connection manifests. The need for connection might look different for every woman, but common signs include seeking deep conversations. She might want to talk about feelings, dreams, and fears rather than just daily routines or logistics, expressing a desire for quality time. She values moments where you're fully present without distractions like phones or work. Feeling hurt by emotional distance. If you seem disengaged or withdrawn, she may interpret it as a sign that the connection is fading. Yearning for shared experiences. She might suggest doing things together like traveling, cooking, or attending events to strengthen your bond. For example, if she asks about your day and wants more than just a one-word answer, it's not because she's nosy, it's because she wants to connect with you on a deeper level. What men can do. The good news is that fostering connection isn't complicated. It just takes intention and effort. Here's how you can meet her need for depth. 1. Be present. When you're spending time together, give her your undivided attention. Put away distractions and focus on being fully engaged in the moment. 2. Ask meaningful questions. Show genuine interest in her thoughts and feelings. Instead of, "How was your day?" try, "What was the best part of your day?" or "What's been on your mind lately?" 3. Share your own vulnerabilities. Connection is a two-way street. Don't be afraid to open up about your own thoughts, struggles, and dreams. It shows her that you trust her. 4. Create rituals of connection. Whether it's a weekly date night, morning coffee together, or bedtime talks, consistent rituals can help maintain and strengthen your bond. The payoff. When a woman feels truly connected to you, she blossoms. Her joy, affection, and trust in the relationship will deepen, creating a partnership that's both fulfilling and enduring. The desire for connection isn't a weakness. It's a testament to her ability to love wholeheartedly. And by meeting her halfway, you create a bond that's unbreakable. Weakness 9. Self-doubt, the inner critic. Let's end with one of the most universal struggles women face: self-doubt. While many women exude confidence outwardly, there's often a quiet battle happening within. Self-doubt is that persistent voice whispering, "You're not good enough," even when all evidence points to the contrary. It's the inner critic that can hold her back from fully stepping into her power. Why women struggle with self-doubt. Self-doubt doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's often rooted in childhood experiences, societal expectations, and cultural messages. Many women grow up in environments where they are encouraged to excel, but simultaneously reminded not to overstep or appear too ambitious. These mixed messages can leave them questioning their worth, abilities, and even their identity. Add to this the unrealistic beauty standards, career expectations, and relational pressures that society imposes, and it's no wonder self-doubt becomes a familiar companion. Even when women achieve incredible things, they may still feel like imposters, waiting for someone to find out they're not good enough. How self-doubt manifests. Self-doubt can be subtle or overt, but here are some common ways it might show up. Downplaying accomplishments. She might dismiss her achievements with phrases like, "Oh, it was nothing," or "I just got lucky." Seeking constant reassurance. Even when she excels, she might still ask questions like, "Do you think I did okay?" Hesitating to take risks. Fear of failure or criticism can prevent her from pursuing new opportunities or stepping outside her comfort zone. Comparing herself to others. She might frequently measure her worth against other women, whether in appearance, career, or relationships. For example, if she's offered a promotion at work, she might focus on why she's not ready rather than recognizing her qualifications and hard work. Or in a relationship, she might doubt your affection, thinking, "Why would he choose me?" What men can do. As her partner, friend, or family member, your role isn't to erase her self-doubt, but to help her see herself through your eyes. Here's how. 1. Affirm her strengths. Regularly remind her of what makes her special, her intelligence, resilience, kindness, or any qualities you admire. Be specific to make it meaningful. 2. Celebrate her wins. Whether big or small, acknowledge her achievements. For example, say, "You worked so hard for this, and you deserve it," to counter her inner critic. Encourage her to take risks. Support her in pursuing her dreams, even when she's hesitant. Reassure her that failure is just a stepping stone to success. 4. Be patient. Self-doubt doesn't vanish overnight. Be patient as she works through it, and avoid dismissing her feelings with phrases like, "You're overthinking." The payoff. When a woman feels supported in her battle with self-doubt, she begins to replace that inner critic with a voice of self-compassion. Your encouragement can help her embrace her worth, step into her power, and live with greater confidence. Self-doubt isn't a weakness. It's a challenge that, when met with love and understanding, can lead to profound growth and resilience. Conclusion: strength and vulnerability. Gentlemen, we've journeyed through the 9 weaknesses of women: emotional sensitivity, overthinking, validation, fear of rejection, overcompensation, trust issues, compassion fatigue, the need for connection, and self-doubt. But let's end with a revelation. These aren't weaknesses at all. They are the threads of humanity that make women who they are: complex, courageous, and beautifully vulnerable. When you understand these aspects of a woman, you gain a superpower. You're no longer stumbling through relationships, unsure of how to connect or support her. Instead, you become a man who sees her for who she truly is, who honors her journey, and who strengthens the bond you share. So what's the takeaway here? Women don't need you to fix them. They don't need you to solve their struggles or silence their vulnerabilities. What they need is your empathy, your patience, and your presence. They need a partner who meets them with love, not judgment, with understanding, not indifference. By embracing these so-called weaknesses, you also grow as a man. You develop emotional intelligence, deepen your connections, and create a partnership that's built on trust, respect, and authenticity. And in the process, you'll discover something incredible. As you empower the women in your life, you empower yourself. Gentlemen, the world doesn't need perfect men. It needs men who are willing to learn, to grow, and to love deeply. So go out there and be that man. The man who sees strength in vulnerability, who turns challenges into opportunities, and who builds relationships that stand the test of time. Until next time, remember, love is not about perfection, it's about connection. And when you lead with empathy, you create a love that's extraordinary.